Hi friends. I feel like in 2022, 2024, into 2025, so many new fashion rules or guidelines started to pop up and go viral. The 7-point outfit, wrong shoe theory, the sandwich method, the list goes on. But over the past several months, I haven't seen new rules or formulas popping up as much. I haven't seen people talking about the established ones as much. It seems like the hype around these has sort of died down, which means I think it's the perfect time to try them out and see if they actually hold up and really work to create better outfits. Or if, like many fashion rules of eras past, they're kind of arbitrary and not that useful or relevant. So that's what we're doing today. I have to state my biases at the start here. I come to this as sort of a fashion rules hater. I think mostly because I just hate any rules placed on something that feels like creative expression to me, especially when there is no real authority on what's correct or incorrect in style. But I'm also very interested in trying to figure out what makes outfits work or not work. I'm very particular about different colors, styles, textures, silhouettes, how they work together in my outfits. So I kind of wonder if I'm actually already doing some of these rules anyway without even realizing. And maybe verbalizing them is actually useful. So I'm very intrigued to try these out. I genuinely don't know how I'll end up feeling about them, if I'll hate them all at the end, or if I'll be a total convert, or somewhere in the middle. So let's find out together. We are starting with possibly the most popular fashion rule or formula of the past few years, wrong shoe theory, which, just in case anybody doesn't already know, is basically exactly what it sounds like. It's the suggestion that instead of choosing a shoe that perfectly matches the established vibe of the outfit, you go for a shoe that's a different vibe, an unexpected shoe choice, the wrong shoe for the outfit, which creates a little more tension and juxtaposition within the outfit. This was coined by stylist Alison Bornstein. And by the way, I want to be clear, the people presenting these ideas are not necessarily framing them as rules that you need to follow for your outfit to be good. I feel like they've sort of been taken up by the masses as the new fashion rules, but a lot of them originate more just as like ideas or suggestions to try out. So nothing but respect for the originators of these ideas. Anyway, I think honestly this is something I intuitively already do pretty often. I love a little contrast and juxtaposition in my outfits, but there are also certain wrong shoe choices that I tend to shy away from. I tend to think certain shoes feel like they bring a slightly different vibe in a way that still works, and then other styles of shoes feel totally wrong in a way that doesn't work at all for me. So we're gonna try out an outfit with the right shoe, an outfit with a slightly off, unexpected wrong shoe, and then an outfit with the completely wrong shoe, and see how they all compare. All right, as sort of a control in this experiment, we are starting with an outfit that I think has the right shoe. It's a very dainty feminine outfit, dainty feminine shoe. All of it leans more spring summer. There's not really tension in the outfit. I think this looks lovely. It's not really my style. Like I said, I really tend to like and be drawn to that contrast and juxtaposition in an outfit. So something that feels entirely dainty and feminine doesn't feel super me, but I think it still looks really cute. I'm definitely not mad at this combo. But now let's try swapping it for a somewhat wrong shoe. And here is our less expected wrong shoe, a chunky loafer. This is much more aligned with how I would normally style an outfit like this. We've got, you know, dainty and feminine, and then something more chunky and androgynous. I really like the contrast. I like the tone that it creates in the outfit as a whole. I don't think this necessarily looks like more stylish. I'm sure a lot of people would prefer the first outfit, but it definitely feels more me, at least. And it communicates like a more funky, creative sensibility, which is kind of what I'm going for. I will say, I don't think this shoe is like the wrongest shoe we could do. You know, it has that heavy, chunky, more like menswear inspired feel against this light, dainty, feminine top half, but they do have some things in common. Mainly, I think that their formality level is the same. The shoes feel maybe a little dressed up, and so does the outfit. And I think for me, that's one of the keys to making this sort of wrong shoe work, is that it still has to have something tonally in common with the outfit. So to illustrate that, we're gonna try out an even more wrong shoe next. All right, and here is the wrong shoe theory pushed to its logical endpoint. We have a very sporty, casual hiking shoe. And you know, after looking in the mirror, I do feel affirmed that this is not for me. I don't like this combination. To me, it just looks so off that it's a little silly. In the previous outfit, we had the more chunky masculine shoe with the more light, dainty feminine outfit, but they both felt a little polished and elevated. Whereas in this outfit, this shoe is more chunky and androgynous, the outfit's dainty and feminine, and the outfit is more polished, whereas the shoe is incredibly casual. Nothing feels really connected here. So I guess my verdict on wrong shoe theory is that if you want a little contrast and juxtaposition, picking a shoe that's a little less expected than something totally aligned with the vibe of the outfit is a great choice. It feels at least aligned with my style, although the right shoe also looked great, and the right shoe looked better than I think the completely wrong shoe. So I guess maybe something like an unexpected shoe theory would work a little better for me than fully the wrong shoe. Overall, I'm very curious how you all feel about this one. Would love to hear your thoughts. All right, next up, we are going to try another highly discussed fashion rule or guideline, the 7-point outfit. This is the idea that each typical basic piece in your outfit has 1 point. If it's particularly eye-catching or distinct, it has 2 points. And you want to get your outfit to 7 points total. I've also seen people say that the outfit shouldn't have more than 8 or 9 points. Honestly, I think that upper limit may be harder for me than the lower limit because I really tend towards layering, accessorizing, combining different colors and patterns, lots of little details and elements to an outfit. So this may be another one I kind of do intuitively, but I wonder if my ideal number of points in an outfit is actually higher than 7 or maybe even higher than 9. We're gonna find out. For our starting point to compare, I have put on a 3-point outfit. We've just got shoes, pants, and a shirt. They're all very plain. And I tried to still make this like a good combination of things that I like and I think look stylish together, but just the most minimal version. And now is sort of the tricky part. We have to add the right pieces to this outfit to get it to 7 points. Because it's not like any 7 points worth of items will always work together in any outfit, you know? But I guess the idea is maybe like a very cohesive, well-curated 7-point outfit is gonna be more impactful and dimensional and interesting than a very cohesive, well-curated 3-point outfit. I want to try to make this like a 7-point outfit without changing the tone completely. My goal is to compare these two outfits as the same style and vibe with just the difference in number of pieces and details. My first thought is to add some jewelry. Does each jewelry item count as a point? That feels like cheating a little bit. I feel like that's not quite right. I'm gonna say these bracelets can count as a point, and then maybe this necklace can count as a point. But these earrings, I feel like they're so simple, like they're not really their own point. Maybe the necklace and the earrings combined count as a point. What else can we add? I feel like some sunglasses would go really well with this because it's sort of a sleek, dark, minimal outfit. Also, like, does a hairstyle count as a point? If the hairstyle's cool enough, it should. Let's try to add one more clothing item without changing the vibe. I'm thinking either a vest or a jacket. I went with the vest, and now I guess we have a 7-point outfit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I do think this is like cooler. If I saw someone out in the world wearing this outfit versus the first outfit, I would probably be more into this one. I would think it looks more styled, cooler, and more interesting. That said, I also think this outfit isn't really enough. Like, I think it looks good, but it's not really my style. I think I need higher than 7 points. The range I was presented with was 7 to 9. So maybe let's see how we feel with 9, and then if we still need more, or if that is the right range. Okay, here's our 9-point outfit. Honestly, I like this more than I thought I would with just these adjustments. Adding the bag and the hairstyle really does add more detail to this for me, even though it's very neutral, which isn't really what I would normally wear. I feel like there's just enough going on that it still feels pretty complete to me. It doesn't feel super my style. I think if I were gonna wear this, I would add more color and pattern, which again, then that would push it over 9 points. But I do think this could work really well for you if you're someone who has a more like simple, minimal, straightforward style and you're looking for small ways to elevate it and make your outfits feel a little more dimensional. However, if you're like an artsy, eclectic, super layered and accessorized outfit person, I feel like this might just hold you back. Now, just for one more comparison, I would like to style an outfit just the way I intuitively would and see how many points it adds up to using like the colors and patterns that I like to use. All right, and here is the more me version of this outfit. We've got a colored shirt, a pattern vest. I also added a jacket on top for even more layering. Got rid of the bangles because I wouldn't wear those with a jacket. And now let's tally it up. Okay, so if the hair counts, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna say, because this is a bright color and pattern. 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. And I gotta say, this wasn't me pushing to do like the most. This was me trying to really earnestly just put together a normal day-to-day outfit for me, but we've still ended up at 10 points. So what's my verdict on the 7-point outfit method? Like I said, I think it's useful, especially if you tend to do more simple outfits and you're trying to do more. However, I don't think you need to limit yourself. And in fact, for me, it seems like 9 and 10 were a better range. I don't know if people are even saying that much that it has to be limited to like 7, 8, 9. It seems like for most people, the challenge is getting to at least 7, which I think is very achievable. But again, it does require you to pick like the right 7 pieces. I think a 3-point outfit that feels cohesive is going to be better than a 7-point outfit just for the sake of the 7 points if the things don't all like work together. You know? I guess this one is also like a partial credit. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. All right, our next fashion rule, another one I have seen discussed repeatedly online, is the sandwich method. This rule says that your top, the upper bread of your sandwich, and your shoes, the lower bread of your sandwich, should match, while your bottoms are the sandwich filling and those should be different. And it seems like the original idea was that they should match in color, but they could also just match in style or vibe. This one is a little further outside of my normal styling process. I'm definitely much more eclectic. I aim to have more going on in my outfits than just shoes, a top, and a bottom. And I usually want everything in my outfit to feel like it makes sense with or connects to something else in the outfit, but I definitely don't need my top to match my shoes. And even then, the outfits that I need to like connect or go together don't necessarily need to match, you know? This one feels like maybe a little more limiting than what I would normally do. So this will be an interesting experiment for me, I think. Okay, so this rule was a little harder to come up with a control outfit for to compare it against, but this is what I have. I just went for a top that has like a clear vibe and color, a bottom that has a clearly different vibe and color, and then shoes that I think don't really align with the color or vibe of the top or the bottom, but if anything, they're more aligned with the skirt, you know? So hopefully this will be good to compare against shoes that really do align with the top half of this outfit. I like this combination. I think it's cute. I honestly think it would totally work, especially with some silver jewelry on the top half, although I took that off because then I was like, now the shoes do match the top, or at least the top half of the outfit. So I was trying to really control what coordinated here. But I don't think this is bad at all. Let's see how it compares, though, to some black leather boots. All right, and here is our sandwich method outfit. Honestly, I think I liked the previous outfit better. But I also think that might just be because I think this boot length looks sort of weird with a short skirt. I normally wear these with pants or a long skirt. So it might be more the proportions that are throwing this off. Let's maybe switch to my black leather loafers just to get a slightly more fair comparison of silhouette. All right, here we have it with the loafers. I do think I like this a lot better. The silhouette is definitely working better for me. The socks kind of match the skirt, so now that's throwing off the matching. Should we remove the socks just to like be extra regimented about it? I'm gonna do it. Okay, I still like this, although honestly I think I liked it with the socks better. Do I think this is better than the silver flats? Honestly, no. I think it's equally good, probably, but I actually think I like the color variation more. I'm not that into like super matchy outfits. This one so far, not really hitting for me. But to give it a fair shake, I would love to now try a different variation where instead of trying to match the color of the top and the shoes, we try to match the vibe a little more, but we allow them to be a different color. Okay, for this combination, we are matching the aura and the vibe of the top and the shoes with sort of a cozy, earthy, practical, androgynous sweater and sort of cozy, earthy, practical, androgynous boots. And both of these contrast with this more, you know, frilly, flowy, feminine skirt. I like this. I think it's cute. I think having more color variation is benefiting the outfit here. But I also think, this is still kind of boring. Maybe that's not the shoe's fault. You know, maybe it's just the lack of color and pattern. I mean, I think it's working. But now I want to try another different shoe with a totally different vibe. I had to bust out these boots. Honestly, I think a lot of my shoes are this sort of like down-to-earth, practical, androgynous vibe. So most of my shoes match the vibe of the sweater well, but these boots with like the pointed toe and the little heel definitely feel more elevated, dressed up, feminine in a way that I would not say matches this cozy, slouchy, earthy sweater or this frilly, flouncy, flowy skirt. The boots are a lot more structured than both of these pieces. Now the question is, do I like this combination better? Honestly, I thought I would. I was prepared to be like, sorry, sandwich formula, it's a no for me. But actually, looking in the mirror, it actually does feel a bit disjointed with these shoes. I am going to predict that on camera, this outfit will look better because these boots they always stun on camera. But in real life, I think I actually did like the other boots more. I guess maybe this, much like the wrong shoe theory, speaks to my preference for things that have a little difference and contrast in the outfit, but also still have some cohesion and something in common. I was not expecting this, but I'm going to give the sandwich method partial credit as well. I have a feeling every one of these is going to end up being like, yes, I liked it to some degree for certain things and not for everything. It's an interesting and useful thing to consider, and it's also not a hard and fast rule that you have to follow in every single outfit. No surprise if that ends up being the thesis of this video. But this one did surprise me a bit. Okay, this next fashion rule is one I have specifically heard repeatedly referenced by Christina Mihas, though it originates from Tibi founder Amy Smilovic. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. If anyone knows, let me know. But it is the idea of big, slim skin. This rule suggests that every outfit should have something big, more voluminous, wider, less, fitted to the body. You get it. Then something slim, a little more fitted to the body, and then some skin showing, even if that skin is just like your ankles or your forearms or something. These different elements, the different shapes and definition that they create in an outfit, are supposed to make it feel generally balanced, harmonious, and proportionate. This is another sort of guideline that I think I do pretty often. I enjoy outfits that fit into this big, slim skin categorization, but I also definitely wouldn't say all my outfits fall into this, or I feel like outfits need to fall into this. I also really enjoy a lot of outfits that are like baggy on baggy or slim on slim, or maybe they have a baggy element and a slim element, but there's no skin showing at all. So for this one, we're going to try the big slim skin formula, but then we're also going to try those other variations, big on big, slim on slim, big and slim with no skin. And then we can see how they all compare to one another. Here's what I have. Skirt, obviously big. Top, obviously slim. And then for skin, I have a little ankle exposed and also a little forearm exposed. This is really about like hitting those points and getting those proportions of the formula more than like fully crafting a magnificent outfit. So this is, very simple. Not my favorite, most exciting outfit I've ever put together. But looking at the proportions, I like it. Honestly though, when I was styling this, I kept wanting to just put on like a long sleeve shirt and boots that cover my ankle. So we're going to try that next. And that's going to be big plus slim, but without the skin showing. And we're going to see if that really makes a difference or not so much. All right, here's combo number 2 without the skin. And I gotta be honest, I like this one way better. I think it looks more natural. I really like the boot flowing into the skirt without any skin. I also just like the long sleeves. I think the elbow length can look a little awkward sometimes. And I think this is working really well. I don't feel like, oh, it's missing having some skin exposed. I will say it seems like in this formula, the slim element is not necessarily expected to be like as fitted and skin tight as the tops I'm using are. So maybe I'm not missing that skin element because in the silhouette, this top looks virtually the same as just like my bare arm would look. So maybe we need like something a little slim but not quite so skin tight. All right, here is a sweater that is still a relatively slim fit on me. It's not like oversized or anything. And I think this is working well too. Would it look better if I rolled the sleeves up a little? Maybe. I mean, that looks fine. Like, I do think that works, but if we're being realistic, like, I'm not wearing my sweater like that. I'm probably cold and I'm probably wearing it like this, and I think this also looks good. But now let's try big on big. Let's swap this for a big, chunky, oversized sweater and see how I feel about that. All right, here we have it, and I gotta say, I think I like this even more than the previous sweater. I love a baggy on baggy look. I do think the slimness in the boots is helping create a little, like, structure and balance in this outfit. I also think maybe pushing up the sleeves would have a similar effect, but I just don't think it's necessary. I think baggy on baggy totally works. And if you want to add in like a little something more fitted or a little skin exposed, that's great too. But so far, I don't think you need all three in an outfit. Finally, to round it out, we had to try a slim on slim outfit. So we have a slim fitted top, pretty slim fitted skirt, and even a slim shoe to finish it off. And I also think this looks great. Honestly, this is really confirmed for me that there is no one right silhouette or a way to like balance an outfit. I feel like this idea of big slim skin could be helpful if you're looking at your outfit and you're like, this feels off, then maybe adding something bigger to a mostly slim outfit, or adding something slim, or rolling up your sleeves on a big oversized outfit could be helpful. But I don't think an outfit needs all three of these things to look good. A lot of the other ones I was like, oh, I think it's kind of benefiting the outfit. But in this case, I feel like often it didn't really make me like the outfit any more than I already did. I definitely, again, don't think you need all three of these elements to make a good outfit. Okay, so earlier we talked about the 7-point outfit and how that can be great. But something more pared back and minimalist can also be great on statement making in its own way. And this next styling rule, or really more of a formula, does just that. This is the 3-bean salad formula from Hannah Louise Poston, which involves putting together an outfit with 3 pieces, only 3, that are all different colors. And that's it. I mean, ideally they're like special elevated pieces that can really hold their own, so that with just 3 of them, you can make a really special, beautiful, elevated yet restrained outfit. This is something I have honestly been wanting to try ever since Hannah first mentioned it in a video, because it's so different from my style, but I still think it looks very striking and beautiful and stylish. So I thought this would be a fun way to try out something different. Specifically for this formula, I'm interested in testing out whether the outfit is truly better with just 3 pieces, or if I add more, will that improve the outfit? Again, this is kind of the inverse of the 7-point outfit. A lot of these rules are kind of the inverse of each other. The sandwich method is like the inverse of the wrong shoe theory, and then the 3-bean salad and the 7-point outfit are sort of inverse. So maybe this is really all going to show that there's no one right way to do an outfit, but it's fun to test. It's fun to try out. So we're going to try that 3-bean salad base, but then we're also going to try taking that base and adding even more to it to see how it changes the overall effect of the outfit. All right, here is our 3-bean salad starting point. And I have to say, I like this more than I expected to. In keeping with the true origins of the formula, I wanted to go for 3 solid colored pieces because that's how Hannah Louise Poston does it. And that is very outside my style. I normally feel the need to have at least a pattern in every outfit, but this is working better for me than I expected. I think part of the fun challenge of the 3-piece only outfit is finding 3 pieces that feel special enough and like they can sort of stand on their own enough to work in this sort of outfit. You know, this flowy dramatic skirt, my silver shoes for a different color, and then this blouse that has its own really interesting shape to it. And I feel like this is an outfit more than I expected it to feel like an outfit, you know? It really does sort of let the pieces shine more than usual. That said, now I want to try adding to this the way I might if I were putting together a typical outfit with this base in real life and see if I actually like that better. I want to try to maintain the like elevated tone. One of the first pieces that came to mind for me is this jacket, which feels elevated. I like it with these colors. It has a bit of like a mystical feel with the shiny, sparkly thread, which aligns with these shoes. It also definitely takes this out of 3-bean salad territory. I like this quite a lot. I would also definitely add a bag to this outfit, and I'm thinking perhaps this purple one could work. This is more of a warm purple, and this is more of like a grayish purple, but I don't know, for some reason I like them together, so I'm gonna go for it. I'm also feeling inspired to add these like big chunky statement beaded earrings. I just think they work well with this sort of elevated but also sort of magical feeling outfit. Here's a slightly closer look at those. I hope you can see them okay. Is there anything else I want to add? I feel like this could really be the outfit. And I love this outfit too. This one definitely feels a bit more me. I think the pattern is really adding the more developed color scheme, the little details. All of it is bringing it in a more Liz direction. Oh, let's add up the points. Is this a 7-point outfit? 1. I'm going to say this is worth 2 because it's a coat with this sort of dramatic pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sure is, baby. I guess this further proves that 7, 8, 9 points is more my speed than just the three. That said, the base inspiration also kind of challenged me to put together pieces in a new way. Again, I was looking for those more interesting statement items that would hold their own and work well with each other. And I think that also helped me create something new. So another formula or rule that has proved useful for inspiration, although not something I feel the need to do in every outfit, of course. I'll stick to my more eclectic, layered, accessorized whimsy for myself. All right, well, I gotta say, I think this video is leaving me pretty much where I expected to be at the end. I found all of these things interesting and insightful and useful as a jumping off point to consider how I might put together an outfit, but virtually none of them felt like something I feel the need to do all the time. I would say the 7-point outfit rule is probably the most applicable to my own style to make an outfit feel more like me, but again, I don't think you need it to make an outfit that looks good. And, you know, I think I expected the sandwich method to feel the least me and the least useful, but actually I think the big slim skin formula ended up feeling the most limiting for me, or the least aligned with my style. I don't know, I just like to play with silhouette more than that. I would love to hear what you all think of all these various rules or formulas or ideas in the comments. Thank you so much for watching and spending this time with me today. And I heard if you do leave a comment, watch another video, and subscribe to my channel, you will be psychologically freed from every fashion rule you've ever been taught that haunts you deep in your mind and makes you feel limited for no reason. Because ultimately, no one's in charge. No one is the king arbiter of fashion, and there are no rules.